Action!
Thanks to your brilliant Cedric on the sun.
What's going on?
Is it cool to come back to, you know, where it was all set, where it was all begun?
Yeah, it's fantastic just wandering around because all of the locals, all of the people around, you know, who were alive during that time, just come up and tell you stories, and people who knew him, and you know, people who were around during that time. There's so much fascinating information because everyone knows everything because it's such a small community, and everyone's come out and been really generous and has come and talked to us and told us all these stories and given us all this information. It's just fantastic.
How would you describe Morrieson yourself from what you've heard?
From what I've heard, he wasn't particularly he wasn't particularly well liked during his time. He was very, very eccentric and sort of frowned upon, a bit too eccentric for most people's tastes. But
heavy drinker and smoker.
Yeah, pretty heavy drinker from what I hear. But after he died and after his works started receiving a lot of recognition, he was looked back on reasonably fondly, but not so much at the time.
Why do you think he put that tower in the story?
I don't know. I'm not sure if it's a reference to the water tower in the middle of Hawera. I kind of suspect it is, considering that has quite a lean also. I mean, you read the story and a lot of bits and pieces, talking to the locals, you can kind of trace back to bits of the town's history.
It's going really well. We've been really fortunate with the weather, like today, for example. We've always been prepared for a wet down, which is what we're about to do in this scene, just in case the weather turned nasty, but actually so far we've been really lucky. And every scene where we've gone, it'd be good to have like a gothic kind of, you know, grey cloud look. It's like suddenly there's gothic grey clouds, and we go, it'd be nice to have a sunny day today. There's a nice sunny day, so we can't complain. It's fantastic.
Is there any downside to filming in a small town?
Is there any downside? The only downside is being so far away from an airport, but apart from that, it's been, you know, I mean, the people in Hawera have been so supportive of us, and they've just, you know, made everything really, you know, easy for us. For example, tonight we need all the street lights off. I don't know when often now, but just like in Hawera, it's all being possible, you know, closing streets, things like that. So, I mean, there's a lot of excitement about the film. So, no, it's been fine.
What do you think of Eltham?
What I think of Eltham? I love it, though I wish it was a little bit warmer. When I first started looking for locations for the movie and we were walking down here, we just couldn't believe there's this amazing historical street which hadn't been touched. In fact, it was like we were excited about the possibility of sort of preserving it or rebuilding it and making it look like it should look. So it's been fantastic, you know, painting it all up and seeing all the colour coming out and you know, and things like that. So, no, it's really
What's going to appeal to overseas audiences about this movie?
I think any movie that is set in its any movie that has a universal theme like this one, but really comes from the place that it's set in, if that makes sense. So, for example, this is a New Zealand story, and it absolutely comes from New Zealand. It's not a story pretending to be a film from America. Or it is a New Zealand story, but with a real universal heart. So, just like say films like Whale Rider or Once Were Warriors, this film has all those things that as human beings we can relate to. For example, feeling lonely, or you know, wanting to be accepted, or friendship. All these themes are strong in Predicament, and you know that appeals to all of us because we're all humans. So it'll work anywhere.
Going to be commercially successful despite the absence of those commercial elements that we.
This film has lots of commercial elements. We have Jemaine Clement, who is one of the hottest young comedians in the world at the present. Heath Franklin, whose Harden Up Australia tour has just broken box office records around Australia, and then also throughout New Zealand he sold out. And we have Tim Finn in his first feature film, who is not only going to, I'm sure, amaze audiences with his fantastic performance he's doing in this movie, but bring another, fans of his work already are going to, obviously love seeing him in a different role.
Jason Stutter, our director, approached me. I was immediately very curious because of the work itself. Yeah.
It's quite a dark.
It is, yeah. There's an edge, definitely. It's got its dark undercurrents, and, things happening that are wholesome, but there's also that innocent character at the centre of it all, carrying his heart forward, come what may. And so it's, horror is not that different to terror, so I can definitely relate to the complexity of those of small town life.
So
I was amazed. It's so much bigger than I expected. There are 50-something places to eat and 20-something places to cut your hair, so I'm sorted. I really like, and everybody's been so hospitable down here. It's been really lovely.
What do you think of the film project being part of it? Dark and scary.
I'm actually really excited about it. My character isn't involved with too much of the dark, scary stuff, so I've got a really enjoyable role. But I read the book, and when I read the book, you can definitely see those incredible undertones that become overtones.
Have the flashes turned off so that any photographs that you take, we're not getting flash photography through the middle of our shots.